one of the reasons that we practice yoga and meditation is that the internal world will be as bright and clear and shining as the external. So versus going to the external and looking to have your world perfect and cultivate things and having more, in yoga, the drishti, the focus is internal. So everything in the external world start to look exactly match your internal. But if your internal is a war, then everything in your world will be as if it's a big war, W-A-R. So here for an hour and a half, what I want you to cultivate is a clear mind, right? A place of peace, harmony, a balance between the mind, the body, and the spirit. So we clear so much the inside, right? And we have tools to do that. We clear so much the inside that the external world start to look very bright. And there's a feeling of steadiness in that place of peace. Meaning that if there's a chaos around you, you are standing as a warrior, strong, focused, clear, right? So if there's a big wave comes in, is about to smack you, you still have that internal, solid being that you are. And I always look at life as an ocean, right? So the ocean, have waves, and the waves are the drama in our life, the pain, the suffering, the stories, the drama. And we are cultivating enough of a steady ocean inside that the waves come in, they don't affect us. Or you become a great surfer. You just know the wave is coming, you know exactly the pattern of the wave. They're usually a repeat. Once in a while it just comes in a different form, it's just a bigger wave. But you just know that the wave is coming and you exactly know how to ride that wave. And that's a true practice of yoga. It's not just on this blue mat. What we're doing here on the mat is exactly a reflection of our world, or at least that's what we want. We want to take yoga off the mat. So when you go and perform and dance, it's a whole different expression. For some people it would look the same because you practice that 8 hours, you're doing exactly the same thing, but something inside is completely different. So when a musician excuse me for my French, but his shit going on, and his shit is going on in a sense that he really knows, is inside, you can see that he's a genius, is an amazing musician, but you can see also there's such a beautiful being inside. There's a humility, there's integrity, there's a strength, right? So you can be a poet, but you can be a poet. So you can just write it, but you can actually live it. So you can dance, but you can dance. There's a two different way of being an artist. Not just bringing, music or dance. So there's so many other. How about playing sport? My son is a football player. When he goes on the field, he is completely there. He's committed. I don't even know who he is. I'm like, wow, I can't believe that's my child. But he's have that steadfast, right? He's committed, and it's not about him. It's about a teamwork. So there's two elements for a great player, right? So you know the move of your team, and you're working together. So it's that universal, and also the individual. There's a beautiful play of consciousness between the individual and the universal. And in yoga, we talk about the universal as the back body. How many of us really bring awareness into the back body? Rarely we do, right? We mostly go into the front body, which is the individual. right? So we come into the world from the individual, but if we come in and participate in the world, also plugging into the universal, our expression is going to be way bigger wave and way more powerful. So the intention today for the practice is when we practice, let's cultivate the play of consciousness between the individual and the universal, bringing the universal as part of the wave. So your expression becoming way bigger than you. And it's not to diminish you. You are part, it's not diminishing, it's actually another way of looking at your being, of saying, you know, this is as much as I can do, but if I'm going to plug into this bigger source, right, this higher source, my expression is going to be a lot more alive, awakened. Right? So when someone performing on stage, you can see that they're losing their self in the act, right? They are completely letting go of their small me. I call it a small me. So there's less of an ego, right? So if you play sport, it's less of an ego. It's not about me anymore. It's way bigger than that. So, and we do it, you know, a great way to learn is that really plugging into the alignment. Right? We call it, you know, in Aryasara, they talk about the 3 A's, the attitude, the alignment, and the action. And I look at it as the attitude is, for me, it's about opening to grace, and it is opening to grace, but it's also cultivating humility as wow. There's something way bigger, and I'm interested to know. I'm interested to enter that new realm, right? The alignment is how do we plug into that, right? So I would say it's the play between the effort and the surrender. So you make an effort, but you also have to know that in a relationship between a man and a woman, or a relationship between partners, it's one come in and then the other one come in. And if one, you know, check out, you know, you sort of have to pause. So there's a dance even between relationship, right? You have to know not to be too aggressive, and you have to know when to pause, and you have to know when to wait for the person to show up. Because if the dance is just one person doing all the dance, it ain't fun. It's like drops of love, and it's not real, right? Real connection. It's a tiny bit of drops, and it's not the real connection that you can have. I don't want drops. I'm not interested in drops. I want the whole thing, and the whole thing is actually a play of effort and surrender. And the last part is the action. And the action is I would call it more of a steadfast. So when the wave comes in, right, you have all the alignment, all the tools. You know how to behave. You know what move you need to do. And the action for me is that when I get into tough poses and, asanas, and it's difficult, and I need to be steadfast, I need to use my breath, I need to pause, right? I need to bring enough muscle energy so I am in that place of integrity, right? Integrity, if I translate a lot of the words to Hebrew, Hebrew have such a powerful meaning behind them, and integrity is complete. It's really being full and complete. That's the translation for it. So, and I would say that will be the third part of the 3 A's, attitude, alignment, and action. So let's take a meditation. We're going to hit up with breath of fire. We're going to do some crazy breath work, and then we'll move the body and do some crazy poses, and I promise I'll give you a nice shavasana. I know you guys are working hard, so we play hard, but we definitely rest as well. All right, so come into a comfortable seat.